The beauty of having Manchester United back. Look, it was only a did we even call it a pre-season? It's a mid-season game. Maybe not the result we want. Definitely not the performance we wanted. But guess what? We got 3 stars on the channel to talk about it. So let's get rolling, guys. Right, before I go any further, Bobby K, I see ya. Eddie Football Waffle, I see ya. Zoe Media House, I see ya. Pat, long time no see. How you doing, big man?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I was very optimistic for this game of football tonight until the first 13 minutes, and then I had to sit down and relax, and then watch the rest of the game.
Omundi, how you doing, man?
Yeah, really good. Nice to see Man United back playing again. Obviously, we have to put things in perspective. It's not about the result; it's about development and about pre-season training. I keep saying, I was saying this yesterday. Pre-season. It's not pre-season. It's mid-season, warm weather camp training, and it's a light game. We can't be too judgmental, but we on the Man United agenda will go into it, I'm sure. Mr. B, what do you think of the game? Because we all watched it. Sorry. No. We're going to get into that. Sorry, let me ask you again. What do you think it's a good thing to be playing live on TV, or do you think that should be kept behind closed doors?
Anything Man United do, and the way that football is now, you're always going to find a stream. There's always going to be a camera. So, it being televised, I don't think it made any difference. I don't think it made any difference to the player on the pitch. I mean, all it did is we would have just had to we would have had to be digging deeper for a stream to watch the game on. So the fact that it was on something that we could find over here, then it made things a lot easier. The lineup, was it a surprise? I didn't see Solo's 11. So I'm not sure if he got what he got, how close to the lineup he actually got. But Pat, before I ask him, what did you think of the lineup? Was it what you expected?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think the lineup was exactly it was basically what I expected. I thought SHAH was going to start before Garnacho, but he got in there before him because of the friendly, and it was pretty much the same starting 11 that we chose the night before on the preview show. So I was kind of happy with it. I couldn't believe the amount of changes that were made in the second half. They really just changed it up completely. So it was good to see as well, good experience, good manners to be put on young players.
Omundi?
Yeah, just want to say, Stumpy, man. Last night on the show, Stumpy was talking about Elizabeth I in 1500s invading Cadiz. This is a history lesson we received. And now he's saying Cadiz got their revenge for that 1596 attack. Yes, certainly. Lineup. It's quite interesting. Obviously, I thought De Gea would start, and they put in Dubravka. I don't know about what's happening with this guy. He's coming on loan. I thought he'd be rotated a lot more. Haven't seen enough of him, and obviously we go into detail a bit later. But obviously, I still can't. I don't know what he's got or what his reason he's there for. Mengi was in for Bernard. I thought Bernard would start, but Mengi played, and there's another player who's had 2 good loan spells as well. One at Hull City as well in the Championship, and one at Stretford, one of the local clubs. I forget now who it was. So it was good. I was watching him. But the key ones for me, I mean, obviously we know about Scott McTominay, Alanga, Van der Beek, Garnacho. We've all seen these guys. But the key one for me in the first half was Zidane, and obviously, hopefully we get to talk about him because I thought he was exceptional.
Oh, exceptional!
Exceptional.
In a 4-2 defeat, huh? Okay, fair enough. Look, see, as you led me there, I see. Anytime we talk about Iqbal and Charlie Savage, even from pre-season, we it put a smile on our face. So to see Iqbal starting today, I like him. I like him a lot. I like him a lot, and I'm on there. I know you like him, so you're gonna tell me that Iqbal was the guy who impressed you the most in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, look, we can all agree. Look, football is a tough game. As we saw in the second half, as people are saying in the comments, there's really good MS saying it's boys against men. It was boys against men. There's a physicality issue that they have to grow into, you know, to become proper professional players at the highest level. You could be a great youth and playing at this sort of level and doing things against boys your age, and you could have a bit of physicality on them, a bit of skill, technique. But when you come up against men, grown men who are professionals, there's a big difference. Doesn't matter if you're second from bottom in the La Liga or whatever. There's a huge difference. There's a gulf out there. So that transition, when you become from boy to man, it sometimes takes longer in some. I know you're still growing, Mr. B.
That's because you've done all the growing for us, Omundi. That's why.
My point is, with Zidane Iqbal, he's got a lot of qualities that you can see the difference maker. He's a difference maker at this level because he can step up with ease into a men's level and play 1-2 touch football where it gets to the point where these men are thinking, I'm not going to rush him or get him to bottle it, because every time I do, he's popping it off and popping it around me. And there was a couple of times where I was very observant today with him and Kobe in the second half, very observant of these guys. And I think these guys got a really good chance of making it because of what they're showing today. These guys, Cadiz, as you saw, they put it on these guys. They're thinking they're boys. And I say, you're not going to have it from boys. It's like me going to play against a women's team or something. I'm not going to get beat. I'm going to be physical with them. I'm going to try my best to do whatever I can to get that advantage. If I was playing a youth team, I would do my best. That's the way to beat them. We lost on Sunday against a youth team who were running rings around us, but we didn't put the physicality in it, and that's why we lost. If we put the physical on them, they would have bottled it, and we would have won the game. So the same applies. So Zidane Iqbal is a player demanding the ball to feet. Already scanned what's happening around him. Ball comes in. Someone tries to rush him. Pop it off the way he's facing. Gets the ball, tight control in tight areas. There's one ball just before he scored that or set up the goal. He got the ball, played it off, and then ran into an area which was crowded and still demanded the ball. And they received it because they know him in training. And that's how the ball it developed him, doing 1-2, pop, and getting a penalty, running in. So this guy's exceptional. I'm sure the Cadiz players will be saying, wow, he's pretty good. Because otherwise, everyone else, they can munch like Pac-Man. They couldn't do that to him. And so credit to Zidane Iqbal. Football is a mental game as well. He might not have the physicals as the man yet. He's still got a lot of physical growing to do. But what he's got up here and what he's got with his game already shows that he's going to go a long way in the game.
Before we go into who impressed, did you not think that the Cadiz side were getting very frustrated towards the end of the first half? And in the 40th minute, I think it was, the referee turns around, and I think he dished out a yellow card or two to slow down the Cadiz players because they were getting frustrated at the young Manchester United players who are growing into the game and starting to make a bit of a mockery. And you can see a couple of them are out puff going into the end of the first half. So that speaks volume for these young players who were growing into this game. And they were cut dopey in the first half. Let's be honest. You know, the kids playing against men. But we'll get into that. But you're right. Zidane Iqbal was absolutely excellent tonight. And the only thing I could think about in hindsight that I would have changed differently with the starting lineup was I would have put McTominay with Kobe Mainoo instead of I would have had Savage with Iqbal, because I just think the two of them are fantastic together. That's all. Now, there could have been a method in Eric Ten Hag's madness
I think there was.
They would like to play differently. And you might see them in the better game play together. But there's obviously a bit of method in that madness to see who's the bigger player, because he never gets to see who's the bigger player or better player when they play apart, because they always play together, really, you know? Because I really highly rate the two of them, Savage and Iqbal.
We don't want no more peers of midfielders, bro. We'll have one that can do a job, and then we've already had McFred. We can't have any more pairings, man. Let's not pencil them together. You know what I mean? Omundi, you look like you wanted to say something there.
Yeah, just if we're talking about the first half, because this game of two halves, was it, with players, and we're here to analyse the players, see about the development, see how they're getting along. And a lot of people, as we were building up to this game, we would sort of question a few players who've got to produce it, and then talk about the fullbacks. I want to talk about Brandon Williams and Wan-Bissaka, whether they did themselves justice today. I mean, I thought Brandon Williams shouldn't be playing left back. For one, it's right. So you defend, you're in position, you keep your shape at the back. But when it comes to developing the game and going forward, he cannot whip in crosses with his left foot. He cannot get himself in even those tight areas, in the half spaces, whatever, or doing an overlap. He's just going to chop it back to his right, and that just slows everything up. I don't think he's got the ability to be a left back, top draw left back. He's not Cancelo. He hasn't got the technical ability to do that. And I just think his game's really going to suffer unless he goes and says, I'm going to be a right back. That's it. Forget about it. I'm going there. Because otherwise, he doesn't offer much to the team. And I've seen it. I was watching him in certain areas, trying to get up the pitch, and he wasn't demanding the ball. And I think they targeted him because they had their physical guys as well. And they really, I suppose they think he's vulnerable. He's come back with injury, playing for Norwich last year, relegation. He's got a lot to prove. And I think they targeted him. And I think he really sort of struggled a bit. Obviously, it's a development game. I'm not going to be too harsh on people. But I thought here, especially Brandon Williams, it doesn't look like a player who's going to go far with Manchester United Football Club. Wan-Bissaka, granted, I was watching him in higher positions up the pitch, and I felt that he got the ball. It's like hot potato when he's in this opposition half. He gets the ball. It's like, get rid of it. And just do the right thing. He's a percentage guy. He hasn't got the creation. We've always known this, but he's still not developing his game. And he just wants to do the right thing and not give the ball away. And obviously, the guy gave him a little dub trickery and beat him for, showed him a little something. But that's Wan-Bissaka's game. He usually gets back and for things, but they scored a goal from it, from the cross. And he got overlapped. He was holding up a guy at the halfway line. They had great midfield runners, physical. Here we go again with physical men's football. Ran beyond him. Nothing to do with Wan-Bissaka. Ran over. Wan-Bissaka ran back with the guy, but he cross-squared it. And McTominay, you expect a youngster, McTominay didn't run back with the guy who scored the goal. It was played in the 6-yard box. So there's a lot of guys, big question marks about their future at the club. And I don't think anyone really done anything outstanding. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, with Brandon Williams and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, obviously there's a massive age difference and in maturity and quality and how many years Aaron Wan-Bissaka has a chance to get better than Brandon Williams. And Brandon Williams still has time. But if you think about Malacia when he first came to Manchester United, he's come in as a kid. Straight away, he's shown maturity. He's shown football IQ. He's getting down the pitch. He's crossing the ball in. He's playing long-range passes. Creativity is the word I'm really trying to allude to. I don't really see that from the two lads. Can Brandon Williams put that into his game? I'm sure Eric Ten Hag's going to try. But with Mr. Hot Potato, as Omundi alluded to, he gets the further up the pitch he gets, the altitude hits him, the head gets light, and he can't wait to get rid of that ball and just get on the back pedal and get back down into a lower end of the chat. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, what do you think? I mean, we've just talked about two key guys, Mr. B, and these are first-team players who Brandon Williams got 50 games for the Man United. What do you think about their performance in the first half? Do you think they've done themselves justice?
No, I don't. I think Brandon Williams is gone. He just always looks like he wants to be physical with the player. He always seems like he wants to be involved in a fight or a bit of argy-bargy. You don't have to stop a player with argy-bargy. Stop him with skill. I think that his limit or his ceiling is very, very low. So I think he's gone. As soon as they can get him out of the club, he'll be gone. God bless Wan-Bissaka.
And his hot potato.
Yeah, and his hot potato. I'm not feeling Wan-Bissaka, to be fair. I don't think Lindelof covered himself in glory today for the first goal. I actually think it was his fault. Did he jump too early? You don't think he jumped too early?
I don't think it's his fault, no. He was the only one in position, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he jumped and the ball went straight over his head. He was on the way down while the ball was still going. I just think his timing was all wrong. I think if he jumped right, I think he would have made the clearing header.
Quite possibly, yeah. No, that's a good point, actually. And I just think they fooled us because we're high line, we want to push out. We pushed out, and as we're pushing out, they played not the direct ball. They slowed it up, played it to a guy, and so we pushed out, and then they've whipped in the ball as we're going back, and we're coming that way, and their guys coming this way, and the guys at the back post, I think they were at fault. Lindelof was the only one who was actually in position. He sort of realised we don't go just yet, and that's why it just went over his head. But the guys at the back post, I could call that Brandon Williams and a couple other guys who were there. They're at fault, in my opinion. it's simple things. They have to learn from that.
Do you think Victor Lindelof showed a senior performance with the likes of TalkMU beside him? I'm asking you a question, right? While I'm answering it.
You answered it yourself.
You see, the thing is, we've got to remember what the aim of the game is. It wasn't necessarily about the result, and we're looking here wanting to be digging. I'm saying not digging players out, but I was just expecting something else. To be fair, I mean, Garnacho, we spoke about it just before the show started on Monday. You said you weren't too impressed. I didn't think it was too bad, but I think what he did, we need somebody to play on the right when Anthony can't play. And I thought that maybe he started Garnacho on the right to see if he's more capable, because Elanga, I'm not. There's a lot of players who play today. I just think that their future, like Emma was saying, there's a lot of them who I don't think have a future at the club, and that's the part that kind of worries me. To be fair,
what did you think of Scott and Zidane as a pairing? Did you think Scott showed a senior performance? I thought he was okay to warrant a jersey, but to be a senior player in that game, he didn't stand out as a senior player. Somebody who was taking charge, lead of the young men, and going, "You do this, you get there." If I was a senior player there, I would be busting Cadiz players to show these lads, "I'm here, I've got your back. This is how we're going to do it." Now, one thing I will say about Scott McTominay, he did spray a couple of balls there tonight, and I was impressed with his first half performance. He done okay, but I was looking for senior performances from senior players, and I didn't really get that tonight. That was my problem. The only one I found he was doing any of it was Anthony Martial doing his number 9 role, dropping deep, picking up the ball, bringing Zidane ball into the play. That's what I seen, and that's what I enjoyed. Come on, Mr. B, Team Martial, me and you, right? I'm sorry, but it's the truth, and that's the only player I could get to who was a senior performance that really brought the young players into the game.
I'm going to bring some comments into the game because there's coming out some gems right now. Emma's saying the kids did well in my opinion, but you can tell it's boys against men. Stumpy saying Cadiz finally got the revenge, as we said earlier. Brandon Williams, Anthony Elanga, and Wan-Bissaka all need to go, says MUFC. Zoe Media House says, question, I know it's just training, but truth, after Zidane Iqbal and maybe Charlie Savage, how many of the young players do you think will make the first team? She would say none of the others.
Wow.
Emma's also saying, we come back to, I honestly don't really remember anything from the first half. I was more excited to see the youngsters in the second half. Stumpy saying, maybe the Man United squad should sell back on a galleon. Emma's saying, you can't really determine the base of one youth game or for the youth about the future. It's all about what Ten Hag wants and needs. Zoe's saying, I understand that, but there are a lot of youngsters like Shaw Thierry just hovering around below the first team, but he's never made it, and there's lots of players that are young too. And Zoe's saying, but they're having a good conversation here, but you never know how players develop at different paces. You have to look at Lingard, players like that. Some just need the training, while the others need to go and learn. It's way too early to say. I want to say hi to Matthew Bassett as well. He's in the house. And as Stumpy was saying, Ronaldo got the goal. And Emma saying, I don't really need for them to be outstanding to catch my eye right away. That's a very good point. They just have to do what they're told. Great point.
Good point. Good point.
Job. Emma, when are you coming on the show? Wow.
With your words of wisdom, because one thing I will say was little things like what Emma says. TalkMU did pick up the ball once or twice, and he did bring it out from the back. And once or twice he picked up the ball in midfield and he brought it forward. So if he's going to do that kind of thing and improve on it, that's what I'd like to see from a centre half as well. So a little tiny piece of maturity and little things he'll grow. He'll do. Eric Ten Hag will pick on and go, you need to keep doing that, but you might have done it too early or too slow, and you need to keep going. That's what it's all about, experience.
Just to wind up, because this is the first half we're talking about here. I agree with Mr. B. Elanga didn't really. He's a proven guy. He's scored against Atletico Madrid away. He's a big player. He's a national player as well. So he should be someone really standing out and looking the part. and I don't think he did. There was times when he had a chance to do one-on-ones and run at guys. And I think, well, what have you actually got in your locker? You're big, you're strong, you're physical. You can do great box jumps, whatever, in the gym. But I'm not seeing enough from him. I want to see more from him. So I'm disappointed in a way with his development. Sort of slowed up. Maybe with more game time, we get more. But I still don't think he's got the skill level. He's more athletic. And then for Martial, I thought Martial was fantastic. I thought he's the sort of ideal striker. He's showing that role. He's peeling off. What's his name? Donny van de Beek was holding his position, which Donny's really good. You have to look. All I'm saying is this: Donny doesn't do enough. He's probably missing. He's lacking confidence. But what he does do well, he fills in positions where people vacate. And when Martial was coming out of his position, Donny was quick to vacate that, to fill that position. The only problem I got with that is Donny's not involved in the build-up play. I wanted to come and say, get the ball, hold it up, and bring people in and build as a team. He's just standing there because he ain't got the pace. He's not electric to get him behind.
Yeah,
you got to play to your strengths. And I just think, Donny, man, come on, you can do better. But Martial for me was wicked. I just want to touch on Garnacho. I thought Garnacho was pretty poor today, running into traffic. He's doing what we used to call Trashford used to do. We use Rashford now because he's smashing the World Cup. But run into traffic and give the ball away. The first goal or second goal, when they broke on us, it was from Garnacho just stupidly giving the ball away, just running at people and getting pinched. This is men, I just think you might have confidence in everything else, but you're killing us in a way because you're running at people, they counter and score, and it's like, well, you gave the ball away. That's how it's going to be in the change room.
After his last game,
25 minutes, by the way, he gave the ball away.
After his last game, he got the winning goal and he was a superstar. I'm glad this game happened tonight because that would have grounded him a bit and brought him back down to earth to realise that it's not all just goals in the last minute of the kick of the game that's going to make me into a superstar. You have to put the effort in, the team right, and he didn't do that tonight. He swapped sides. He swapped sides a couple of times himself and Alanga, and I was kind of trying to figure out why they were doing it, and I couldn't make head nor tails of it because I think it may have been because I thought Garnacho was supposed to be supporting Aaron Wan-Bissaka when he was trying to get forward, and he wasn't doing it. And then the manager says, "Here, this isn't working. Alanga, you get over there and help Aaron Wan-Bissaka out when he tries to bring the ball forward and give him a bit of support," because Garnacho surely wasn't doing it. So that was the only reason I could see for the swap of wingers, because there's not really a genius tactical decision to make, really.
Second half.
Yeah, big time, big second half.
Well, we were only growing into the game really and getting going, and we were starting to frustrate the Cadiz players. They were kicking themselves, and then all of a sudden we went back to the start line again and went
with the younger kids, with the younger kids.
Yeah, well, the younger kids, some of them look big and strong, and they look like they had posture, and like they didn't look out of place. Sorry, not position. One or two of them.
Omundi, we'll give it to your boy, Man United second goal. You've been singing Manu's praises, Kobe's praises for a couple of seasons now. Were you glad to see him play? Obviously, I know you were glad to see him get the goal or his version of the goal.
My eyes are like that. As soon as I see him come on the pitch, I said, "I'm watching you, bruv. It's me and you." And I was just fixated on him. So what I was looking for, same with Zidane, what you see with class players at that age. He may not be physically as strong as these grown men, but what he did show is that his ball retention was good. He wasn't rattled. They didn't munch him so much, And when they did try to munch him, he was able to hold off man and give it away, and pop it off and create and keep the ball in the way, or give it to the right man. Granted, I think there was a pass. He passed a Savage, the ball bubbled up, and they scored their fourth goal. But I thought he played pretty well, considering it's great experience. That's what I'm saying. All these games are great experience coming up against men. There are poor left back. He was up against an international African dude who was sprinting like.
Are you on about Sam Murray?
Yeah, Sam Murray. I felt sorry for him. Now that's somewhere where you. I felt like that's the sort of game where you have tears in your eyes, thinking, oh. You can see the end. It's like he's probably having breathing problems, anxiety, thing. This happens, but it's a learning curve because he came up against a guy who is physically faster than him, stronger than him, better than him, like Lee Majors, $6 million man. He just beat him in every department. It's great to come up against someone like that, but it's like in the end he had to sort of try and foul him or whatever because he was frustrated because he realised, sugar, this guy, every time he gets the ball, he's going to bomb me, and there's nothing I can do about it. You're powerless. And that's when the tears or your eyes start watering up, and you think to yourself, man, I'm out of my element here. But as for Kobe, yeah, I thought he done fantastic. Held up the ball, done really well. This what when you're a scout and you're watching team players, you watch him and say, wow, that's good. That's why players like that play in older age group, because they're too good for their age group, and he's probably too good for his age group with that ability he's got. Maybe he needs to go a bit stronger, get more game time, go on loan to a physical club like in the championship or something like that. But that's the player for the future. Trust me, he's got all the attributes to do it. I also think he's a bit like Pogba, legangly, strong, and very keen, can pop it off around the corners, that kind of thing. And a bit like Zidane as well, plays the same way. I love those two in midfield. I think they're over Savage. Savage is good, but too basic. These guys have got a little bit of extra. What's that salt thing they do? Like, you know, they got a bit of, you know? And I like it. I like it a lot.
I thought you were going to start bumping out with sugar.
I know Pat likes Savage, but Savage came on. Shola, I think Shola's not really developing. Ollie was playing him as when he was manager, and he's not really getting game time. He needs to do something, go on loan or something. Charlie McNeil just munched. He's not physically ready yet. He ain't got nothing electric, nothing outstanding about him. His finishing's good, but he's still a boy. Hansen, I really like Hansen, the player, but he was munched. He was out of his element today. And the right back, Juado, looks okay, does the right thing, you know, but still physically out of his element. And Bernard, the centre back, as well, out of his element. So these guys have got a lot to do before we start talking about playing first team.
I must say that I thought the real Slim Shady, the Norwegian Isaac Hansen, I thought he played very well. And the one who stuck out for me the most was Noam Emram.
Yeah,
he looks like
the right-sided player.
Yeah, right.
He looks like a right wing Pogba kind of a player. He was tall, strong. He looks like he's agile. He's ready to go, and he did not look out of place in that second half whatsoever. I thought he was very good. Now, their young right back Mark Gerardo, he wasn't tortured as much as young Murray on the left hand side, but he went into a physical battle with the Cadiz left hand side player, and I tell you one thing, he put it up to him. He wasn't afraid, so he didn't back down. So that's one thing I'll stick up for the young Spanish lad. He has a lot of competition in there with Fernandez as well, who's going to be coming in as well, who wasn't there tonight.
But left back.
But he's not playing right back as well.
No, he's left footed. He's left back.
All right, okay, so they got that wrong. But anyways, I thought he played very well tonight. And then we had Dijon Bernard, and then we had Tyler Fredrickson. I thought the two lads played all right tonight until they got to the fourth goal, where one of the lads played a hospital ball across to Charlie Savage, and the Cadiz man played it up. But up to that, I thought they were doing all right. Like everybody else, the young kids, they were going to make mistakes, but I was impressed with their performance. None of them didn't try. None of them didn't look like they warranted a place on the team sheet tonight. So I was happy with the whole lot of them.
Good.
Night.
So who else? There will have been Charlie McNeil came on for Anthony Martial, and I'm a big fan of Charlie McNeil, and I don't think it looked like Charlie McNeil was on the pitch at all. Whether the ball just wasn't making it to him or he was just outmarked, I don't know what you think. He looks a lot bigger as well. He looks bigger than he was last year.
They'll grow. He'll stretch out.
Yeah.
I said I don't want to be too harsh. They played for the sake of playing. I think he always had in his head that he was going to play two completely different teams or completely different tens in the game, regardless of what the players did before. So it'll be interesting to see how much of these players are retained. Because if not, then he's going to have to get him out of the club. It's his decision right now. You know, maybe it's a bit early on some of them, but he's seen these guys training for the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So it's for them to make their mark.
Yeah. I think he wasn't very animated on the sideline, Eric Ten Hag. So
Who was watching? Yeah, I think this was. Yeah, you're right. I think this was more of again where he's just scoping. He's just watching to see. Emma wrote down. Maybe it wasn't about being exceptional. Maybe it was about playing to instructions.
and the reactions of going under pressure, being kicked by senior players, their reaction, how they're gonna react to instruction, as you said, and how the game went. So, like as soon as the game was over, you could see Eric Ten Hag. He was just like that, clapped the hands, went over, shake the Cadiz manager's hand, and that was it. It was like, I'm sure he's gonna come back and he has a whiteboard full of notes to talk to these young players about where it went right, where it went wrong. And he's probably going to ask them, where do you think it went wrong? To every one of them. And he's probably going to ask them all individually, where do you think it went wrong?
Just to add, I think there were many occasions where the young player would get the ball and it's like basics what you learn. And the professional Cadiz players would read their first touch. So you get the ball and you want to turn out that way. They would read it and come and just intercept the ball, pinch the ball off them. Every single time it seemed to be happening. And I thought, wow, this is a big contrast here. So when you're learning, you're doing things right. You get the ball, you receive it, you show that way, you turn out this way, that kind of thing, with your first touch. But these guys, professional guys, were like, right, I've seen this. I know what you're going to do. And read it like a book, like a big picture book. And there's a lot of learning to do, but it's great, like I say, once again, great experience against professional players who are much bigger, much stronger, much faster than you, and much more experienced than you. So yeah, they can only get better from that.
Omundi, I think Doctor Who is trying to exterminate you, bruv. You sound like a Dalek again.
Somebody's came in and says the Mondays turned into a Dalek.
Yeah, I think you might have to replug and in-plug. Look, obviously we've still got Betis to come Saturday. I think this game is more about Burnley, to be fair. Just out of this team, before we wrap it up, guys in the chat as well, if you are still there, who out of this team plays against Burnley? Remembering maybe who's going to be coming back from the World Cup, who's been knocked out, and maybe who semi-impressed. Can we have a starting 11? Maybe a semi-solo 11 is what we might call it. So what have you got there, Pat? See if there's anybody in the chat who'll give us an 11 as well of what was there today.
I'm going to stick with the Dubravka in goal, obviously. Give him warrant Dubravka a bit of game time. I'd like to see Murray start again. I think he got a bit of it. Oh yeah, definitely. I thought he done well for a young lad who got tortured.
Do you want to? So I'm sorry. Do you actually want to win the game against Burnley?
Are we about
yeah,
Burnley?
Forget about Betis. Burnley, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. I want to see. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. I just want to against Burnley. I would. Oh look, I'm kind of hopeful that we get certain players back from international game time where they're not, even though they haven't played 90 minutes for every single game, you're going to get one or two who are going to come back for the love of Eric Ten Hag and play straight away. They're not going to want to go on holidays after being at the World Cup and they didn't play. So I'm kind of hoping for left back Malacia comes back straight away and gets stuck in there. We're obviously going to have Lindelof. It's probably going to be it could end up being a Mengi again and Aaron Wan-Bissaka because Tuanzebe is still not fully fit, so we don't really have anybody else. In midfield, I would like to see. I'd have to say Scott. I'd have to stick with pretty much the same. Yeah, it'd be Scott and Sigdan Iqbal.
Would Ericsson be back to play? Both of you guys.
This is it. You don't know. You know, did he warrant holidays after being at a World Cup but not playing the whole World Cup?
I don't know.
It's interesting, that, isn't it? Am I still a Dalek?
No. You're more garlic now. You're all right.
You're back to being beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that I think we got enough. There are a few concerns, obviously, in certain positions, like Pat was saying. about playing Burnley because that's a big step up. We've got to play Betis, and that's going to be an even bigger step as well compared to what we still witnessed today. They're a top team, really top team at the moment. But the Burnley game, I think we've got a lot of senior pros who will have to stand up and step up now. And the fullbacks are covered. We've got Brandon Williams, we've got Wan-Bissaka. It's just centre
Are they
back.
good enough? Are they good enough on Monday?
I think they are.
Be
You
serious.
have to consider, look, Brandon Williams is playing Premiership football. He's played in the Championship.
Yeah.
And Wan-Bissaka, regardless of what we might think of him, he's still a Premiership level player. You know. Then we've got Lindelof, and he needs a partner, whoever that may be. The manager has to decide. Probably Mengi, as he's shown today. And then in midfield, I think we covered. I'd love to see Zanik Bell start a game against Burnley. You have to remember, Burnley are flying under company. They're doing really well. They've changed their style. They've gone from Burnley that we know under Sean Dyche to being a sort of a more modern day team who play the ball very quick. They've got a couple of good wingers, a couple of good playmakers now. And this is not the Burnley that we identified with before for the last 10 years or so. So it's going to be a very interesting game. I think they would have, we have to be physical. We have to match them. But then we do have qualities. And as long as Martial's fit, and we got Garnacho and maybe a Langa or someone else, I think we'd be okay. But it's going to be very tough.
We spoke about the possibility, like it wouldn't look so bad up front if Jadon Sancho came back on the left, Anthony Martial up top, Donny van de Beek, and either Elanga or let's just say Elanga on the right. Elanga, Donny van de Beek, Sancho, Martial. That doesn't look so bad up top. You have Scott McTominay and then you have Zidane Iqbal. Like that's still looking good in my eyes, lads. My only concern would be playing against a team like Burnley would be the two centre halves. If we're getting pushed over by Cadiz today and getting a set piece goal, kicked over the top, and they're scoring, Burnley are going to bully us in a game like that. And I know Omundi has said that they're not the same Sean Dyche team, but they still have big players in that squad that can come in and cause us hardship. So Dubravka would have to step up his game, coming out, claiming balls out of the line. Lindelof would have to step up, and he'd have to make his mind up, Erik ten Hag, whether it's going to be Bernard or it's going to be Mengi. Who does he feel has the bigger or the greater physical attributes to play in a game like that?
Emma here saying Sancho needs to be right, be for the right side, though, or else we basically have an Anthony there. So Sancho on the right-hand side, possibly if he's back. I still don't know what's going on with him, but I'm not sure. Bill Baggio, welcome, man. I've just seen you drop in. I wonder what whether all the guys were able to watch the game as well today, and whether you'll be watching on Saturday, because that's going to be another really interesting game to watch and see the development of these players. I think it's really refreshing to have all this games on TV to watch now in part of the World Cup as well while we're watching the World Cup. So Saturday is going to be a day of football for us. I don't know. Mr. B plays football on Saturday, then he's going to come home and watch Man United, then he's going to go and watch England and France as well. So, it's going to be full on for you, Mr. B, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the story of my life. That's how I like it, mate. That's how I like it.
Do you think Erik ten Hag is going to change around the team to play on Saturday, or will he keep the same 11 that started in the first half and the same 11 in the second half?
You know what? I would like to think that he would. I would like to think he had a starting 11, and if anybody impressed him out of the guys in the second half, then they would start as an incentive to like, oh shit, I had a good 45.
Yeah.
Give them the incentive to maybe start that game and see if how their progression works. Maybe they won't play against Burnley. Maybe he's got a team in his head, but I would like to think if he rewards them and dangles that little carrot for them, maybe it might bring them on a little bit quicker, maybe.
So the starting 11 against Betis will be the warranted positions from who played well tonight.
Yeah, in these two, yeah. That's what I think.
Just a quick one here, because Zoe's saying about Rashford. He's been playing on the right for England, and obviously he scored 2 goals from the right, cutting in and slotting in with his left in the World Cup so far. So is that someone we could be considering as well, that these guys can play all across the front? I think, I'm surprised Rashford hasn't been able to play on the right, or we felt that we couldn't play on the right. But I'm really pleased to see him play pretty well on the right for England. Sorry,
maybe he hasn't been trained to. Maybe he was just told to play on the right and not told what to do as a player on the right hand side, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you know, we had Rashford, and all he did was he can't cross for shit. So what did he do? He ran around the outside and tried to run right round the outside of the player. Now he stops and he's looking to pass in with his left foot. Is that training? Is that him seeing Anthony actually stopping play and passing in? So at least you're seeing an adaptation to his game, a progression, an evolution to what he's doing. You know, so Rashford playing on the right could probably work, but I would still much rather Rashford playing from the left. I think he just knows the position, and I think he's a lot more productive for Man United being on the left.
I would much prefer Anthony on the right shooting in the half space and Rashford on the left shooting in the half space. In the starting 11, having both of them playing.
I was arguing with Bill, and because as you know, guys, anyone watching, we always have conversations after the show on the YouTube channel in the comments section, and Bill is number one for that. And we were having a discussion today. Bill was asking the question about Sancho because obviously he's out of favour at the moment. Could Sancho play in Bruno's position? Quite possibly.
Yes, I would play him. Oh my God, Bill.
So Bill's a big. He's endorsing that, and I'm not sure. I still think Sancho's, because we're a big squad now. It's a squad game. I still think Sancho's going to get 20, 30 games playing as a wide man. But it's a good question. And it's a good option. It made me think.
I would play him as a number 10. Definitely. I've been calling it since the beginning of the season. I think if we can lock down that central midfield, maybe not play Eriksen, because I'm not sure how deep, Bruno actually drops quite deep. I'm not sure Sancho would play it like that. But on the ball, I think it'd be different gravy. I think it'd be different gravy. We could find him in the right position. So yeah, I'm all for playing Sancho as number 10.
So many options, isn't there? When we talk about it now, we've got big squads. Even these guys, they're going to be squad players, not necessarily first team players. And even though he's talking about Sancho paid 70 million for him, he's still got an opportunity to work his way into the squad. And I still think he's over Garnacho at the moment.
He's not going to, with the links we have to the likes of Cody Gakpo, he's not going to keep buying loads and loads of left-sided players. He obviously had plans for the likes of Sancho, plans for Rashford to play left-sided, play up number 9. Sancho play out on the left, out on the right, in the middle. So he's obviously buying all these players to be versatile across in all these positions, just in case we do get injured. Plus, all these players are highly, highly skilled players. So they should be able to play all these positions.
Total
we say should be able to. Yeah, we say should be, and then we see them on that different position and they're absolute crap.
Oh, yeah. Come here. Look, I love Marcus Rashford. And 9 times out of 10 last season, he played on the right-hand side. He looked like his laces were tied together. And it drove me up the wall.
It's interesting that, because I think when we played with Ralph, first couple of games, he played 4-2-2-2. And Sancho was one of the guys who's quite narrow, playing two behind the 2 strikers. And he played really well there. And I was like, okay, yeah, he got, like Mr. B said, he's got a technique to do that. So, yeah, maybe that's a side that the manager needs to think about to develop his game. But I still think Sancho's got what it takes to be a top winger for us.
Well, guys, I think we're done.
Bring on Betis.
Bring on Betis on Saturday. I mean, it's weird. Betis, we've got Man United before a World Cup quarter final. Isn't that so weird?
The WrestleMania is on at 3 o'clock as well. And then Tyson Fury's fighting at 7.
God, what a day it's gonna be, man. Anyway, guys, thank you, Pat. I'm not gonna ask where we can find you, because I know where we can find you. And then one day, I know where we can find you, bruv. I always know where we can find you. Bill Baggio, thanks. Emma K. Oh, I forgot.
Last but not least.
Yeah, let's wind up with this. So obviously, we're sponsored by GMS. That's Global Mapping Surveys. They assist architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. Offer a wide range of services such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. And check out the link in the description, guys. That's Global Mapping Surveys.
Oh, I love the way you did that, so quick and smooth. It's like you're not even reading it now. It's like it's in your memory. Oh. Guys, before my internet does something really weird, it's been a pleasure as always. We will see you all tomorrow. 9 o'clock?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you all tomorrow, 9 o'clock again. Guys, spread the word. We are the Man United Agenda. We'll be back tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Peace out.
Good night, guys.